I never get the damn thing right. I'm awfully sorry. Right, right. Here we go. Here we go. I'm not really au fait with this thing, so forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. Right, we are live, we are live, we are live. Is this working? Yeah. Right. Good morning, people. Good morning, one person. Sorry about the funny start there. Greetings from the UK. Greetings to Germany. Cheers. Hope the weather's better where you're too than here. It's very wet and miserable here and overcast and damp, and it's not very nice at all. It's not a summer's day at all. Not very good. Not very good. Such is life. Such is life. What we will be working on today is this figure. Our Catholic priest, and also our figure of Major Carlyle carrying the umbrella. So we'll be having a go at him as well today. Which should be fun. Claudia, same with you two. Yeah. Good morning, Ralph. Hope you're well. Yeah, so it's raining here and in Germany. Yeah, probably a Europe-wide thing. Poor weather at the moment, but it can't be helped. It can't be helped. But I'm not planning to go out today anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I got nothing to go out for. My glasses over a minute, and we will get started on these two figures. So the first thing I'm going to do with these two figures is get some flesh tone on them. Yeah, quite pleased with that figure. The Major Carlyle figure is quite good. The right hand is a bit not as closed up as I liked. But trouble is, you try bending the fingers, you end up snapping them. Oh, I already snapped the thumb off that hand, the right hand. I snapped the thumb off it, but I managed to super glue it back on. So I've done the best that I can do with that figure. He doesn't look too bad, actually. Doesn't look too bad. So the first thing we'll do is get some Army Painter flesh base. It's not Army Painter, it's Panzer Aces. Panzer Aces flesh base. We'll get on these two figures. brand new clean palette. This is my color of choice for painting faces and hands and stuff, skin tone. The first color is always Panzer Aces Flesh Base these days. Very nice base color. A little bit of distilled water, just as a drop beside the paint, and I can dip my brush into the distilled water and then into the paint and just thin it a bit. It's always better, as I've said to you before, it's always better to put several coats, thin coats of paint on rather than one thick coat. This figure, this priest figure, which is a mini art figure. It's quite a delicate figure. I don't really care for the way they've done the legs on this figure. They're quite delicately done. Normally what I do is drill out the feet on each figure, put a couple of pieces of wire in there, and then sort of pin them onto the corks. But I deemed this figure too delicate for that. So I glued him straight onto his base and then put him on the cork, which they'll all be on these bases when they're done. But it's not a great way they've done the legs and feet on this figure, but he's still quite a nice figure, don't get me wrong. It won't take much to paint this figure because it's basically it's just flesh tone and black with the cassock and the priest's outfit. So he's not going to take much to paint this figure. He shouldn't do anyway. A little bit fiddly getting in the hands here. Trying to get behind the hands. Quite fiddly getting in here. Don't know how I can really get in there. Hopefully I've covered them. There you go. When that's dry, I'll give him a second coat. Got a little bit of flesh tone on his cassock, but that doesn't matter because we're going to go over it with black anyway. So not to worry, not to worry. Right, Major Carlisle, let's give you a bit of flesh tone. Ah, 3 people. Good morning, 3rd person. Hope you're well. Even if you've got to give these 3 coats, it doesn't really matter. Just build it up slowly as you go. Lovely detail on this figure. This is a figure from Resicast, a Belgian company, who I've got to say, if all their figures are to this standard, that's all well and good. This is a lovely figure. A little bit much on there, and it's sort of pooling a bit, so I try and stop it from pooling too much. There you go. Hopefully my light here won't go into meltdown like it did the other week. The only snag with this lamp is I can't seem to get a spare bulb for it anywhere, which is a nuisance. It may be a case that I have to buy a new lamp, which is a shame really, because it's a perfectly usable lamp. But if I can't get a bulb for it, you know, what do you do? What do you do? It's a nuisance. Here we go. That's a bit of colour on the flesh. Which is rather nice. Here we go. Let that dry and give it another coat. So what we'll do, a second, whilst we're on this Major Carlisle figure, what we'll do is we'll paint his trousers, which should be flat earth, I believe, if I'm right. Check my painting guide. Yes, flat earth. Flat earth. Where's me flat earth? Flat earth, there it is. 983 flat earth. So we'll paint his trousers for him flat earth. Must use my automatic paint shaker rather than my arm. Don't need to be straining my arms any more than necessary. What I do like about this figure is, this Major Carlisle figure is, or this Regicast figure, whichever way you want to look at it. They've made it look like he's got stuff in his pockets of his Denison smock, which is a nice touch. I like that very much. Yeah, very nice figure indeed. Very nice. Right, let's get some flat earth on his trousers. So I hope you've all had a good week. Your video on All Quiet on the Western Front, Ralph, the little bit I saw of it, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, looked very interesting. I have that. So I don't have the newest version of All Quiet on the Western Front, but I have the two 54mm for Master Box and Mini Art. Yes, 54mm. Yeah, I haven't got the up-to-date All Quiet on the Western Front, but the 70s ones and the 30s one, I've got both of them here, and they are, you're right, they are very, very similar. They are very similar, but I would be interested to see the up-to-date one and see what that's like. Yeah. Yeah, an interesting looking video. So, it was quite a long video, I noticed, your video, Ralph, and it was late when I came upon it last night, so I sort of went to bed. I was tired and I went to bed. But I will sort of watch it. What was that comment? The new version, yeah. I'm going to probably look out for that now I know there's a new version to see what it's like. Hopefully it'll be better than the new version of Dad's Army. Which, as I said the other week, was absolutely horrendous. I remember you saying this new version differs a lot from the original version. So yeah, I'd be interested to see. Yeah, so this flat earth is going on quite thin as well, so that'll need another coat as well. But that's no problem. We can do it. We can do it. Yeah. Right, so that's the first coat of flat earth on his trousers. So we'll give him a coat of something on his tunic as well. Khaki grey, which is here. 880. I don't know if you can see that or not. 880 khaki grey. Vallejo 880. So we'll go with a tunic with that. It's actually quite similar to the primer that I'm using. German dark yellow. I still haven't got round to putting the glass beads in these paints. I must get around to doing it. Trouble is with about 500 paints here, it's just I'm not very enthusiastic about it. But it does need to be done. Like a lot of jobs here need to be done. Huge amount of detail in this figure. It's very, very good. Very good indeed. Right, let's have a look here. 11 o'clock already. My word. How quickly time goes. How quickly time goes. Yes, this is going to make a lovely figure. Try and get rid of some small air bubbles on it. Don't like air bubbles on things. It's never good leaving air bubbles on the finish of a figure if you can possibly get rid of them. Pleased with the way the arm went on this figure, the replacement arm. It's gone in very well. Time we get the patterning on the smock and everything, it'll look okay. Gotta get brush right in there. What was that? What was that? Who was saying good morning? Who was saying good morning then? Ah, good morning, Frank. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend. Just working on this Major Carlisle figure. A figure from a company called Resicast, which is in Belgium, a Belgian company, so very close to you, Frank, your neck of the woods. And a very nice figure too, very detailed, very nicely produced figure. Will look very good when I eventually finish it, because you know what I'm like for painting, it's always takes me a while to do things. But that actually, ladies and gentlemen, that actually is my family motto. Nec cito, nec timide, I believe my family motto is in Latin, which basically translates to neither swiftly, neither slowly, which sums me up. Sort of summed my father up as well, actually. Everything was sort of done in its right time. So it will get done. They'll all get done. It's just when I do them. But very nice indeed. Harold Carlyle, I think his name was, wasn't it? Or Harry. Brush I'm using, for those of you that want to know, the brush I'm using is a Rosemary & Co. Zero, a number 0 brush. A little bit in there. I used to paint all my miniatures, or I used to undercoat my miniatures in white primer from Vallejo. By the end I found it too thin. It was terribly thin and watery, the primer, whereas the German dark yellow, the Dunkelgelb, is much thicker, it's a much better primer. Don't get so much problem with air bubbles when you're priming the figure. Yeah, it's going to be a nice figure, this. Will be nice though, I gotta say. I am starting to need a break from the British Airborne, as much as I love them. It's, you can only do so much of one thing before you need a break from it. And that's the stage I'm at now with the Airborne. I've done enough Denison smocks. One or two people have been asking me, am I going to go back to the Napoleonics? Yes, I will do. I certainly will do. Because I want to keep adding to the collection. I want to keep it growing, you know. I don't want it to stand still. And I've got a lot of figures here that need doing for that collection. There you go. Bingo. Bingo. So let that dry. What I'll now do is go back to the flesh tone. I think that's dry, and we'll give them Second coat of flesh tone. I'll do the cassock in a minute on the priest figure. It's just a coat of black. See, it makes you think in a sort of gaming context. Is this priest simply a priest, or is he a spy working for the resistance? We don't know, you see. We don't know. I suppose any of these civilians I'm painting could be working for the resistance. I mean, this guy here, the bakery guy, you know, he could have stuff concealed in those loaves of bread. Yes, sometimes priests were spies as well. You're quite right. What was that, Frank? Yeah, that's a good idea. Do multiple things at once in different scales. Keeps your interest going. Yeah, you can get almost in a rut painting, and then it becomes a chore and it becomes a bit of a drag. So yeah, you need to find ways of getting a bit of variety and keep your interest going. I totally agree with you. One thing I used to do when I was doing the Napoleonics, which I could do with these 135 scale figures actually, is I used to stop every whip and flip and make a building or a piece of terrain, piece of scenery, a bridge or a stand of trees or a building or something, and that worked very well. It gave you a break from painting, but the project was still going forward. You know, your hobby and your collection was still going forward. And I like that. I like that idea, and it worked very well. Right, to give Major Carlyle another bash of flesh tone. Yeah, I really did get in a rut when I was painting these Napoleonics. At the end, it was just a hell of a grind to get them done. It was just... But I did it, and I was adamant that I was going to do it. But I sort of had to grit my teeth to do it. It was real tough going. But, you know, if I did Napoleonics now, I would go back to it with renewed interest, because I haven't done any for such a long time. The tartans. Yeah, that's a tough ask for anybody to paint tartan. That's not an easy thing to paint, for sure. I take my hat off to anybody that can paint a half-decent tartan. Certainly when you get into things like Cameron tartan and all that, which is quite an involved tartan, as we were saying last week. I take my hat off to anybody that can do it. Ah, you can't beat a good cup of tea, I tell you. Right, Major Carlisle, let's get you painted up. Quite nice facial definition on this figure. So he will look good. We was talking last night, I was on watching Pirate Rich's channel last night. If any of you have seen that, you was there, wasn't you, Frank, on Pirate Rich's channel? He gave me a challenge last night to do 6 different accents. So I am honor bound to accept the challenge to do 6 different accents. So I always say to people, Richard air bubble in his eye socket. I always say to people when, there you go, that's not too bad. When doing accents, your starter for 10 and I'm no expert at this by any means, but I always say your starter for 10 is the Welsh accent. That's a beginner's accent, if you like, the Welsh accent. It is pretty for you, isn't it? See? Come to Wales, man. Sure, yes, you're one of your easier ones to do. Get my brush in there, there you go. Well, I have to tell you, see? Well, I don't have to, see, but I will. When I was in the army, we had a guy who could send Morse code messages by breaking wind. One night I was in bed, I heard him send, "Hello, dear mother." Well, I don't know whether she heard him or not. Well, I mean, we were in Aldershot, she was in Llanelli. And that's your sort of basic starter for 10 accent, is the Welsh accent. You get the Scots accent. Oh dear, oh no. Oh, can I be right? Come down to my tether, oh. Welcome to my wee video. I hope you like what I'm doing. Aye. Painting me wee figures. Oh. Aye, miniature wargaming. I got a friend. I obviously got a friend. She's from Northern Ireland. She's from Northern Ireland, and if I start doing a Southern Irish accent, it absolutely drives her crazy. Drives her mad. She hates it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, it is here now. Oh, what a beautiful thing now. Oh my gosh, yes. I need to be seeing the little people now. Oh my gosh, the little people. Oh, she absolutely hates it, drives her mad. Drives her mad. Don't say that, don't talk like that. Because Northern Irish accent is very, much more sort of forceful, if you like. A bit like Ian Paisley, you know, it is very forceful. I have this vision of Ian Paisley going in a fish and chip shop in Belfast and placing an order, you know, I mean, what would that sound like? I want fish and chips, but I don't want mushy peas. Mushy peas are green and that's the colour of the British Army. So you'd have to have baked beans, you see, because they're orange. Dear old Ian Paisley, yeah. Right, I'll do those trousers again. I tend to think the South African accent, I don't think that's quite forceful as well, isn't it? It seems quite a harsh sort of accent. Because they always talk like that, you know. And always shout at the blacks, "Oi, you, what you doing?" It's all that type of thing. It's quite an aggressive type of accent. But it's quite, I don't mind it as an accent, I suppose, the South African accent. It's all right if you know what I mean. I could talk like this all day if I want to, you know. The African, Middle Africa, what I call sort of Central Africa, and sort of Congo and Zambia and places like that, that's quite forceful as well, you know. That's quite a strong sort of accent. I mean, I had a problem once. I used to live in the great city of Plymouth. I had a problem with what we would always refer to when we were kids as the metrics. Anybody not know what the metrics is? It's Cockney rhyming slang. Metric, miles, piles, hemorrhoids. So we always call it the metrics. Our dad's got the metrics again. So I had a problem with this and went to see my doctor, and she made me an appointment to go to Derriford Hospital. So I arrived on time, went to the reception desk, and was escorted to this little room. And the nurse said, Dr. Oppong will be with you shortly. So I'm sat there, you know, looking at the obligatory posters on the walls. And all of a sudden the door opened, and there was this guy, ebony black, you know, it couldn't be any blacker, had a brilliantine starched white coat on. Took one look at me and said, Mr. Marsh, I have a problem with your bowels. That was before I changed to her. He said, it's a problem with your bowels. And it's all quite strong, quite sort of forceful. I mean, if I sat here and said, you know, what I want to say to you is, I just say it like that. Whereas if you're from like Central Africa, what I want to say to you, you cannot talk to me like this. It's all very, very strong and very forceful. I don't know why they have to be like that. I don't know. But if you went to somewhere like Kenya, it's much softer for some reason. What I want to say to you, if you know what I mean. It's all very soft. They're all very softly spoken in sort of Kenya and places like that. Whereas Central Africa, it seems much more aggressive. Much more aggressive. Let's get some more paint on these trousers. Jewish voice seems very, almost very nasally. Oh no, not again. What a lovely bit of schmatter, my boy. It's all very sort of nasally. But then you can think, well, battery low. Why is this my battery low? Is that should be charging? Hang on. Excuse me while I move my phone a second. Make sure this is charging. Right, this is saying to me it's not charging now. Why is that? Rotate device. Right, why is that not charging? Right, let's try this again a minute. Right, now it's charging, okay. Right, sorry about that. My phone was telling me porkies. Sorry about that. Yeah, Jewish voice. I'm a good Jewish boy, you know. Oy vey. Wat een lovely bit of smatter, my girl. Yeah, this definitely needs several coats on the trousers, yeah. Yeah, French accent. You could do a French accent if you want. I can talk like this if I want. But why would I want to talk like this all day? I would look like an idiot, if you know what I mean. Yes, this is going to be a super nice figure, this. Loads of detail in it. These figures from Resicast have to be recommended. Here we go, that's better. That's much better. I don't know whether you can see that or not. Yeah, nice. Let's get some black on this priest. And somebody mentioned Geordie just now, Geordie accent, which is Gateshead, Tyne and Weir and all that type of area. Yeah, oh, I tell you, I did have once. I was in a Chinese takeaway, and a gang of guys come in. I can only assume must have been some kind of work crew working on something, and I was waiting for my order in a Chinese takeaway, and I had a ring on with a pentagram in it. And one of these guys saw this, and he was from Merseyside somewhere, Liverpool, Merseyside somewhere. He said, "You're a Mason, you are, aren't you?" I said, "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are. You're a Mason. I know it. You're a Mason." You're a Freemason, you? I said, I'm not, honestly, but he would have it that I was a Freemason, and honestly, I'm not a Freemason. What was that, Ralph? Doctor, you remember Dr. Oppong? Yes. Yeah, yeah, well, I remember that. And it came back to me recently, Dr. Oppong, because I was in my health food store and I bought a jar of honey, and it was Zambian honey. And if any of you out there have never tried Zambian honey, you should do. It's absolutely delicious. Zambian honey. It's collected from wild bees' hives, not like wooden hives like an apiarist would keep. They're just like hanging in the trees, and they have to climb the trees to get to the bee's nest to collect the honey. It's that type of honey. It's absolutely delicious. And I looked at that and Zambia on it, and that reminded me very much of Dr. Oppong, because he must have come from somewhere like Zambia or the Congo or somewhere in that region. I can only imagine what he might have thought had he seen me in the health food store buying honey. Yes, folks, I take Zambian honey today, and don't get caught like Mr. Marsh and suffer the consequences of constipation. Yeah, yeah, well, perfectly nice guy. Just, and like they always say, it takes all sorts to make a world. Black, where's me black? Where's me black? There we go. We'll blacken up the cassock on this priest. Yeah, so the old Liverpool guy thought I was a Freemason, but I'm honestly not a Freemason. I should put that on the header for my channel, shouldn't I? Kids with Karen brackets, but I'm not a Freemason. Yeah, the old Geordie accent, yeah. Don't you come up with me, you fucking bastard. I'll fucking do for you. The Birmingham accent, yeah, Brownie, yeah, I'm alright. Come to Birmingham. Come to the bull ring. Right, let's have a bit of water in this. There we go. So I started years of listening to the Goons and Peter Sellers and all that. I sort of realised, get rid of that. I sort of realised, came from Ghana. He used to organise groups of medical staff to travel out there to work for the month to charitably. Yeah, that sounds about right. Coming from what was more rougher, the accent or the examination? The examination wasn't too bad actually. It's just, well, he could see what the problem was. Yeah, Ghana, so that's somewhere that neck of the woods. Yeah. But if you're organising things for charitable purposes, that's great. That's great. Because they do need a lot of help in these places still. Yes, dear old Dr. Opong. You get like Japanese officers in the war, you know, they're very stern, speaking British, English. You will not, it is impossible. You will not. You're a right bunch. Gotta be careful I don't get this black on the flesh tone. No, the examination for the hemorrhoids wasn't too bad. What isn't nice is actually the operation for it. It's not nice. That's to be thoroughly not recommended. And I'll tell you the worst procedure of all that I've ever had, as we're talking medically now, is a camera down the throat. That's something you really don't want. That's absolutely hell on earth. I would not recommend that to man nor beast. Because your instant reaction is you want to cough the thing back up because there's a foreign body going down your neck. But you can't cough because you've got a grommet in your mouth, wedging your mouth open with a hole in the center. They're feeding the pipe down. Oh, horrendous. Horrendous. I mean, having a camera stuck up your ass is bad enough because they inflate a certain amount of air in you to sort of inflate you to get the camera to go round. And it's uncomfortable and painful, but it's nothing compared to camera down the throat. But I've had, you know, tubes stuck up my nose and stuff squirted down it and all sorts to check things over. But yeah, what I was getting back to is I used to started off listening to the Goons and Peter Sellers and listening to what he was doing, and I sort of realised he was using different parts of his mouth to get different sounds and different voices. If you've ever, any of you out there ever listened to the Goon Show, you listen to Peter Sellers and the variety of different voices that he does is just tremendous. You know, like sort of elderly commissionaire type voice comes from right from the back of the throat, right way down in the back. Yeah, you can't do that here, mate, it's not allowed. I'm going to have to ask you to move along. Come along now, move it along now. Yeah, you can't say that to me. I'm with the authorities, mate. It's right from the back of the throat. Whereas Blue Bottle, the character Blue Bottle, was very high-pitched, sort of castrati type voice. I do not like this game. Yee, I hurt in my groin. It's all very high-pitched. Then you had Major Bloodknock, which was quite a loudish type voice. Oh, postman, excuse me a second. I can't honestly imagine what that. Thank you, Madame. Sorry, that was the post lady, a very bedraggled, wet post lady. She delivered me this package and I can't recall what it is. So I'll let it dry out and I might open it in a bit. Yeah, Major Bloodknock on the Goon Show. It would always be like horses charging or trumpets sounding or something like that, and he would enter and make a sort of grand entrance. Oh, oh, it's all lies, I tell you. Oh, those two women in that hotel in Bangalore, it's all lies. Janet and Susan, I've never heard of them. We're just good friends. Nurse the screams. And it's all that type of thing. Or there'd be a huge explosion. It'd be, oh, no more curried egg for me. Wonder I have a huge amount of them here on CD, The Goon Show. And Spike Milligan would do character Minnie Bannister, which was another sort of high-pitched type voice. Henry, where are you, man of mine? Yeah, great fun, great fun. They don't write stuff like that now. They don't have comedy like that now. And a lot of it's now, it's all bad language and sort of effing and blinding, and which is not good. It's not good. Yeah, the good old days. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to look like a nice figure. Yeah, I don't envy the post lady having to walk around in the rain today, but goes with the job, doesn't it? Goes with the job. Just got to be careful with this. You don't get the black on the flesh tone. It's a bit awkward also getting the paint behind behind the arms here, because the arms are folded across the chest. Yeah. It's always, I think, going back to doctors, it's always a bit unnerving, I think, seeing a particular doctor for the first time, because I tend to think doctors can be a very mixed bag, and you don't know what you're going to get or who you're going to get. I mean, I'm seeing one next week, but I've never seen this particular person before, so what this person is going to be like, I know not. But for sure, I do need to get checked out. So, gonna have to sort of bite the bullet on this one and see who I get. But you feel, I was only discussing this with somebody the other day, you feel these days when you go and see a doctor, you almost feel these days like you have to exaggerate. Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, yeah. Vulgar and vomit is the new fun. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, Peter Cook and Moore, yeah. Very funny pair. Very funny pair indeed. I always think it's a great shame that a lot of that stuff from the 60s was wiped. BBC wiped the tapes to reuse them, and we've lost it. We've lost it. I think it's very sad because it's classic stuff, classic sketches. It's a great shame. Yeah, this is going to make a nice looking figure, this priest. Despite the problems with the legs that are a bit ropey. What was that about Dave Allen? Yeah, he used to do a lot of religious sketches, which were very funny. Yeah, I liked him very much. Very good indeed. I think this figure is going to need 2 coats of black. In fact, I'm almost certain he will need 2 coats of black. Yeah. A lot of what we laughed at when we was younger probably wouldn't be politically correct now. But political correctness has gone too far. What was that? Our priest knows much more than your rabbi. No wonder you're telling him everything. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like this figure, this priest. It's going to look nice. I had to do some work on the hat for this figure because the hat was slightly too large for the head. It overhung the side of the head, so it had to be sanded down a bit. You can see that or not. Let's get rid of that a minute so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I'll do the hat a minute. I don't know what you call that. Is that a mitre? I don't know. A mitre is a pointed thing, isn't it? So I don't know what you call that, but I'll do that anyway. Yeah, not a nice day out. No butterfly spotting today. Good morning, 6th person. I hope you're well, wherever you are. Hope you're having a nice start to your weekend. It's always nice, I think, to have a batch of civilians in whatever you're doing, just to add a bit of reality to the thing. Whether that's peasants or sort of stuff that I'm doing now. It always makes the scene look a bit more realistic. Let's just drop that down a bit. There we go. Then of course you get Indian people. Indian people, for some reason, when they're speaking English, they always get V's and W's mixed up. They get them the wrong way round for some reason. Indian people. I don't know why that is. You'd have to ask them that. Oh my golly gosh, what a beautiful thing. Oh my gosh, yes, it is beautiful. But if you like listen to an Indian cricketer, you know, we would say the wicket is very bad. They get it the wrong way round. Oh, the wicket is very bad. Oh my gosh, yes. Very bad. Oh yes, very bad, the wicket. They get the V and the W mixed the wrong way round for some reason. I don't know why that is. Here we go. So we'll let him dry a minute. We'll let him dry a minute. I'm not sure what colour I'll do the boots on this guy. Brown possibly, just to offset the black of the cassock and the hat. What I'll do now is I'll give that tunic on Major Carlisle, I'll give that another going over with the khaki grey. Trousers look pretty good on this guy, I gotta say. Tell you what I had the other day, just for a change. I was ordering my groceries online from a well-known department store, or superstore I should say. And I bought a duck, just for a bit of change. I hadn't had duck for a while, so I bought a duck, a £5 duck, and roasted that. I gotta be honest with you, I never seen so much fat come out of one animal, bird, beast, whatever you want to call it. I never seen so much fat come out of anything. Good grief. I could have lubricated a bicycle with it. There was that much fat. Totally delicious, I have to say, but a heck of a lot of fat. What I did actually in the end was stripped all the meat off the carcass, put the meat on some kitchen paper, left it for a couple of hours, then dumped the kitchen paper, then sandwiched the meat between more kitchen paper and pressed it down and got rid of as much of the fat as I could. Obviously there's still going to be a little bit, but yeah, swimming in fat, absolutely swimming in fat, but very nice. And I got, or will get when I've eaten it all, 6 meals out of one duck, which is not bad. It's not bad. 5 meals out of the meat and 1 meal out of the giblets, which were very nice. Where's me khaki grey? What have I done with the khaki grey? Military green, green yellow. Come on, what have I done with the khaki grey? Ah, where's that gone? What have I done with my khaki grey? There it is, right in front of me. Yes, a very nice duck, I have to say. 20 minutes a pound cooking time plus 20 minutes at the end. So a £5 duck will take you 2 hours roasting. Dog is supposedly very greasy eating. I've never eaten dog, I have to say. Politicians are mostly not correct. Yes, indeed. Honesty doesn't go with the job, Frank, of being a politician. You don't get anywhere in politics by being honest. What is it they say? They put it nicely, don't they? Economical with the truth. Boris Johnson being a prime example. How long have we been going on this? Hour and a half already? My God, how time flies. Tempus fugit. That's what they say. Tempus fugit. Tempus fugit. Time flies like an arrow. But fruit flies like a banana. That's what they say. I'm pleased this Saturday. My voice is holding up very well today. I'm pleased. Yes. A very nice figure. Resicast. Like I say, he was modified, this figure, with a brand new arm. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. All politicians are the same. They work for the people. And you're employed by the people. But they forget that they're a law unto themselves. Trouble is now, you see, they're not really there for the people. They're career politicians. And they're in it for position of financial gain. Which is not good. They always say, I don't know if it's true or not, I suppose there's some truth in it. Going back to the accents thing and all that. And the ventriloquism, if I can say it, ventriloquism thing. They always say, yeah, I don't know, I forget who said that now, Frank. Power corrupts and absolute power, yeah. I forget who said that now, but it's very true. It is very true. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, going back to the what was that? Gotta check that. Someone, yeah, you're right. Someone is always going to be unhappy. That's very true. But you know, when you see them, you know, like constantly fiddling their expenses and all this business, and accepting bribes, and um, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Yeah. So going back to the um, ventriloquism thing, it is said, and I read, that the people that make the best ventriloquists are people that are sort of good at mimicry and foreign accents. I don't know whether that's right or not. I suppose there's some truth in that, I suppose. Yeah. If you want to hear a sort of uh, good sort of Scottish accent, I suppose, you want to watch the channel Liberator 240. You watch his channel. Anybody you watch Liberator 240? Very, very fine painter, I have to say. But he's got quite a good Scottish accent. Hi guys, just another video from myself. Show you what's on the beaten table. A very talented painter indeed. Liberator 240. I don't know what his real name is, I have no idea. But a very, very fine painter. There you go, that's another coat of khaki grey on that figure. The arm's fitted in very well, the new arm. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yes, sub to Liberator 240. Yeah, he's good. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, very good channel, Liberator 240. Always starts the same way. Hi guys. Just a quick video from myself. Show you what's on the beaten table. They always have such wonderful names in Scotland as well, don't they? Ah, Dougal. Ah, Hamish. Have you seen Finlay? Ah, he's away with Henderson. Tarquin. Yeah. Right, what are we doing now? Shall I go over that black again? Yeah, that needs another coat of black. The priest figure. So we'll give him another coat of black. Let's have some more black here. Bloody Scots, they still haven't forgiven us for Culloden, have they? Yeah, bless them. We're all Celts together, Scots, Cornish, Welsh. What's that? What's that comment? Venus Boys is a Scotch guy. I can't recall the name, but can understand sometimes. Very thick accent. Yeah, some of them are. Some of them are very thick Scottish accents, like Glaswegian or stuff like that. They're very sort of heavy and thick. Yeah, and they're quite quick, and you've got a job to grasp what they're saying. See me, I was born in Govan. I come away out for a bevy, you know what I mean? Passionate about their football, I know that much, the Scots. I remember they beat us at football at Wembley in '77, the Scots. They absolutely wrecked the place. Absolutely wrecked the place. And now do the Germans. Paint it black again. Yes, I will do. That's what I'm now doing. Do the Germans. Well, they're always sort of like speaking English, you know, it's like, yeah, for sure, we can do it. Swiss are the same, right? Yeah, I'm from Switzerland. Yeah, I'm here for the convention, for the Cuckoo Clocks. Yeah. Italians is good for me. I like, yes, see, it's good. World War II Italian tank. 15 gears, 1 forward, 14 reverse. Standard piece of equipment for Italian infantry was running shoes. And you get sort of American, sort of New Jersey type accent. New Jersey. Jesus, that guy's a limey. And the Australian is quite coarse, quite a coarse sort of accent. I always find it sort of, if I'm honest, a vulgar type accent. Australian type accent. I always find it quite vulgar. Christ, what a fucking ripper. Struth. Look at the tits on that fucking Sheila. Christ. It's all that type of thing. It's Struth. Get out of here, you fucking pommy bastard. But may have something to do with the criminal past, because most Australians are sort of descended from European criminals. And it's not the easiest place to live, I'll tell you that, Australia. It's a sort of tough environment to live in, I think, much more than here in dear old Blighty. Quite pleasant. Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff is quite pleasant, but there's a lot of them that are very brisk and very sort of coarse. I mean, I had an aunt that went out there to live, and she stayed a few years, but she ended up coming back. It is true what they say, you know, the grass always seems greener on the other side, and then when you go there, it's actually not. And she came back again, bless her. She ended up getting dementia, poor lady. You know, 5 minutes she was diagnosed with dementia, and before long we was burying her, poor lady. Lovely lady too. Lovely lady. Ah, that looks much better. That looks much better. So I'll do the hat a minute. Give him another coat on his hat. Then you get the West Indians. Can't leave them out, I suppose. Yeah, it's nice. I like that. Can't leave out the West Indians, I suppose. You got to relax, man. Smoke a bit of ganja, drink a drop of coon juice. You got to relax. You know what I mean, man. Should never, as much as we're going on about this, you should never deride anybody for their accent or where they come from or how they speak. Very reggae. What was that about the US? Yeah, some areas, of course, are sounding than others. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, indeed. It's the same in every country. You get your regional accents and regional dialects. Uh, you get people in the deep south of America, what I know of it. Excuse me for saying this, but you do get quite a bit of inbreeding. And some people have been saying we all inbred down here in the south. Shucks, it ain't nothing like that. Well, you can ask my children and my sister, and we all tell you it ain't nothing like that. It's all that type of thing. Then you get I like Dolly Parton's accent. That's quite good. That's great. She'll say things like, "I don't rightly understand." Lovely lady, dear old Dolly. Yeah, I don't rightly understand. You all. Here we go. Yeah, he's looking good. He is looking good. Right, what am I going to do now? What are these trousers looking like? Right, I'm going to give these trousers another quick go over. And I'm going to retire for lunch, I think. Yes, a nice priest figure, yeah. Yeah, I like him very much. You won't be able to see him very much. Yeah, he's going to look super nice when he's done. Yeah, I'll start on the face in a bit. So we'll go over these trousers again on Major Carlisle. Then I think I will retire for lunch. Don't want khaki grey, do we? We want flat earth. What have I done with the flat earth? Here we go. Yeah, it's been a nice Saturday morning. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Shame about the weather, but it doesn't really affect us in here. Alright, that's got enough water. Water that down a bit. Yeah, so there might be some truth in that the best people that make good ventriloquists are into accents and mimicry and stuff. So there may be some truth in that. Being that we work the monkey, here default manners. You know, saying there's inbreeding in the South in America. It probably is, but it's probably like that in most countries. You'll get certain areas where you do get inbreeding. There's areas in Cornwall. I mean, people look a bit suspect. So I hope I've done the 6 accents that were required of me in that challenge. But you know, like I say, you should never deride anybody for their accent. Well, so how they speak, how they sound, because we're all different, and that's what makes the world such a wonderful place. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Inbreeding, yeah. Yeah, I suppose we're all inbred to a certain degree, aren't we? I suppose you look at it, if you could trace it back that far, we would all start from the same point, I suppose. What I meant with inbreeding was there's a lot of groups, shall I say, that keep it in the family. Shall I put it that way? But that's their business. That's their business. Right, I'm just going to paint in the eyes on these figures a minute. Right, so the colour we use for the eyes is pale sand. Don't use, yeah, not to forget Adam and Eve. Yeah, Adam and Eve. Absolutely. Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden dwelt, ever so happy and jolly. I wonder how both of them would have felt if all the leaves had been holly. Yeah, yeah. Xenophobic, and yeah, they keep it in the family. See, that's why, you see, every whip and flip, if I can use that expression, every whip and flip are royal family. They have a little bit of a problem And I think that's down to inbreeding, because they try and keep it all together, like, you know. It's like Kaiser Wilhelm was Queen Victoria's grandson, and you look at Tsar Nicholas, you look at the spitting image of George V, because they're all trying to keep it in, and every whip and flip they get a child that has medical issues. The gene pool is affected. Right, yeah, pale sand for the eyes. Doesn't matter when you're painting the eyes. Don't worry if you get them too big. That's neither here nor there, because you're going to narrow them down anyway when you put your dark tone around the eyes. So it doesn't matter how big you get these eyes. Far too big, it doesn't matter. There we go. So like I say, these look, whether you can see this or not, probably won't be able to see this. I don't really can give rid of that a minute. No, you probably can't see that on here. But they're far too big, but that doesn't matter because we'll narrow them down in a little bit. I'll do the same for the priest here a minute. Don't use pure white for the eyes, it's too stark. It's far too much. There we go. And that's, no, you probably won't be able to see that. So let's try and get you to be able to see that. You might be able to see that. But don't worry that they're too big. That's fine, because we'll go over them in a bit. We'll cancel most of that out. There we are. I've killed nearly 2 hours now, an hour and 54 minutes. Lovely to be here as always. Lovely to see people, or to hear from people. I suppose, excuse me just a second, a quick second. I suppose as we're talking about accents and stuff, a new line of acrylic pencils on the market. I try to get them because they go very thin liners. Betty Boop eyes, yeah. Yeah, I'm always open to new ideas like pencil liners and stuff. Anything to make life easier is always handy, and particularly on eyes, because eyes can be very fiddly. Can be very fiddly indeed. Well, as we're talking about accents and ventriloquism and stuff, I should get his lordship to say hello for 5 minutes, shouldn't I? Yeah. You've been sleeping on the back of the chair. Yeah. Well, it takes a lot of energy to do this wonderful. I guess it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Hey, what? Can you watch a movie? You want to watch a movie? Well, I got to paint this stuff. Huh. Can we have tea and honey and cookies? Yeah, I guess. We've got to stop for lunch now anyway. Oh, okay. What's for lunch? I don't know, I haven't thought about it. Oh, oh well. There you go. Do you like to say hello to everybody? Hi. I hope you all had a nice Saturday. I hope you don't get caught in the rain. Well, that's all I gotta say, really. Yeah. I'm gonna go and play with Charlie. You're gonna go and play with Charlie? Yeah. Okay, let's say goodbye. Okay. Have a nice weekend. I'll see you again soon. Thank you and goodbye. Ah! 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 You bang your head? Yeah. This stupid desk. Oh, where'd you bang it to? On the front. Ah. Right, you can go now and play with Charlie. I'll go and make lunch. Yeah, okay. Good day. Right, to everybody that subscribes, thank you very much. For all your comments, thank you very much. We will carry on after lunch with Major Carlisle and give him a cookie at once. We'll have tea with honey and cookies later. He deserves it for just being him. We'll carry on with these after lunch, I think. Get some more work done to the faces. Hopefully, God willing, we'll see you next weekend. Thanks for watching.